feminist sisters who love their sisters, who will die for their sisters, will take a bullet for their sisters, but will not share their husbands for their sisters.
You can lie to your spouse. You can lie to your spouse.
So can they lie in the context of, for example, if one says, I sense that you've got a second wife, can he say, no, I don't?
Yes, you can. You can say that.
You can say that?
Yes, I personally believe this is... the Prophet said you can do it.
White lies?
It doesn't have to be white. It can be a black lie. If someone does this and they get caught, for example, or something happens, or
or she just asks him, where were you last night?
Yeah, but even that, he can lie. The man can do it. It's up to the man. No woman can take that right away from the man. Okay.
Aside from Islam, I think my integrity, my dignity, my, who I am as a person, I would think it's so disrespectful for my husband to go and marry somebody else secretly. That to me is cheating, even if it is Islamically correct.
This idea of aside Islam, we're Muslims. There is no aside Islam in this discussion. I'm speaking to a Muslim.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no aside Islam here. The true religion, which I'm now expected as a Muslim man to follow, is not the religion of Islam. It's the religion of women's feelings. I'm not going to do this. So I'm saying now we go back to the book and the Sunnah.
What exactly is a secret marriage? It is not made public. It's not publicized.
So the point is this, let me be real, yeah? If you got a good husband, he comes and he says, I want a second wife, all hell breaks loose. And then we blame this man. Yeah, but why are you keeping it secret? What else should he do?
And so they perform the marriage in somebody's house and there are two witnesses present and nobody knows about this.
When the Prophet, he kept a secret from some of his wives. Yeah. Some scholars, I'm not going to go into detail, but some scholars actually connect this with an incident with Maria the Copt.
Incident narrated about Maria, and then we are done with the story of Maria. And this is an incident that the books of tafsir mention more than the books of seerah, because the Quran was revealed for this incident, and therefore the books of tafsir mention this story. And once again, so with Maria, there's all of these mini stories that are problematic from one perspective, and this is also one of them. And again, I reiterated, it better you hear it from me than from others. And also, this is in the Quran, so you can't really this is a verse in the Quran. It is reported in Tabari that, and many other books of tafsir, that one day Hafsa went away and she was not going to be at home, and so the Prophet called Maria to the house of Hafsa, and it so happened that Hafsa returned earlier than she was supposed to, and she saw Maria leaving her house. So she became extremely enraged and she became irritated with the Prophet ﷺ, and she said that, Ya Rasulullah, is that how much, how do I translate this, respect you have for me, or is that what you think of me in my house and on my day? And so the Prophet ﷺ continued to placate her and calm her down, and she basically was very emotional, and until eventually she made the Prophet ﷺ promise to never ever see Maria again. And the Prophet ﷺ said, I have made her haram for myself. Okay, khalas, I give up. Basically, Maria is haram for me. I will never see Maria. I swear to Allah, by Allah, I'm never going to see Maria again. And he told Hafsa, he made Hafsa basically keep this between the two of them, and he said, do not tell Aisha. And this shows, and here's the point here, that these types of incidents, the image that some Muslims have of our Prophet ﷺ, so when they hear these narrations, the image they have formed in their minds crumbles. He now wants to placate Hafsa, so he promises not to see. And he does not want Aisha to find out. He makes Hafsa promise not to tell. Hafsa goes and tells and spills the beans. Then what happens? Allah reveals in the Quran. Allah reveals in the Quran. That's why we're talking about it right here. And Allah reveals, what is He revealed? Which surah? Surah Tahrim. Okay, Surah At-Tahrim. Ya ayyuhan nabiyyu, O Prophet, lima tuharrimu ma ahalla Allahu lak. Why are you making haram what Allah has made halal for you? Meaning what? Maria, تبتغي مرضات أزواجك. You do it in order to please your wife. So you make haram what Allah had made halal simply to please your wife. Wallahu ghafur rahim. And Allah Azza wa Jalla is forgiving and merciful, right? قَدْ فَرَضَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ تَحِلَّةَ أَيْمَانِكُمْ. Allah has obligated on you to get rid of your oath. What was the oath? Never to see again. So how do you get rid of the oath? You fast or you give a raqaba. Basically, there is a method in the Quran. You feed the poor, you fast, you give So Allah is saying, I have obligated on you now to get rid of this oath. Don't make haram what Allah has made halal for you. Right? In tatuba ilallahi faqad saghat qulubukuma. So Allah says, the both of you, what you did in trying to basically make yourselves better and what that, the both of you, if you repent to Allah, even if you repent, your hearts have inclined towards what it doesn't say, but meaning to deprive him of the halal. فَقَدْ صَغَتْ قُلُوبُكُمَا وَإِن تَظَاهَرَا عَلَيْهِ. And if the two of you dare cooperate against him, فَإِنَّ اللَّهَ هُوَ مَوْلَاهُ. Allah is his protector. وَجِبْرِيلُ وَصَالِحُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And the righteous believers. And that's Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman, the righteous believers, and Ali. وَالْمَلَائِكَةُ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ ظَهِيرٌ. And after the righteous believers, even the angels. So this is a verse that is meant to bring some fear to the wives of the Prophet. Don't conspire against him. Well, now, so because of this, Allah revealed the command to break the oath, and so he broke the oath, he gave the kafara, and so Maria returned to him. Now, there is an alternative version. There's two opinions about Surah At-Tahrim. This opinion of Maria is really the strongest one and the correct one. There is an alternative that some of the Sahaba posited, and this is that it involves some honey that was given to him by Sauda, and Aisha and Hafsa conspired. The fact of the matter, yes, the story is mentioned, but the fact of the matter is that it doesn't fit and follow all of the verses, the secret and the two of you conspiring and whatnot. It doesn't fit as perfectly as the story of Maria. And also, it doesn't seem that big of a deal if the Prophet says, I'm never going to eat honey again. Versus the issue of Maria, it makes perfect sense. Why would the wives get so jealous about spending 20 minutes extra because he had honey? Because the other story goes that he had honey at the house of one of the wives, and so they got very jealous that he's having honey. And that doesn't fit as perfectly as the story of Maria. Now, by the way, some scholars say, these personal issues of the Prophet's house are private matters. They should be left alone. We shouldn't talk about them. But to respond to this, we say, if Allah had wanted to, he could have kept it private. But he revealed Surah Tahrim because of it. So there's a wisdom for us in it.
What do the tafsirs say? Okay, well, basically, most of the tafsirs give these reasons, both of those reasons. Some of them actually only give the first one, about Maria al-Qibtiyya. That is the one that's the most common and most famous amongst the Mufassirin, certainly in the classical period. Nowadays, however, the reverse is true. Nowadays, people prefer the one about the honey, and in some cases you won't even find the explanation of the Maria al-Qibtiyya. That's been kind of obliterated, and in some places completely cut out. For example, if you look in the tafsir of Ibn Kathir online, Ibn Kathir spends 2 pages talking about the Coptic slave girl incident. If you look at the tafsir online in English, it's not there. All these 2 pages, gone, crossed out, disappeared. You decide for yourself why. This is the tafsir of Tabari, okay? Tafsir al-Imam Tabari, and I'm reading from it, and it says, قِيلَ أَصَابَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَّى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمَ. The Prophet slept with مملوكته, his slave girl, Maria al-Qibtiyya, في بيت زوجه, in the house of his wife, Hafsa bint Umar, the daughter of Umar, وفي يومها. If you're not sure what I'm reading, here it is. فوجدته حفصة, so Hafsa found him, في ذلك, in the middle of it. فغارت لذلك, and became jealous of that. فقال ألا ترضين بأن أحرمها? Would you be happy if I made her haram? فلا أقربها, and then don't come near her. فقالت بلى, yes, she said yes. فحرمها على نفسه, so he made her haram for himself. وقال لا تذكري ذلك لأحد, don't tell anyone that. So that's Tafsir Tabari. As I said, Tafsir Ibn Kathir, Tafsir Al-Quran Al-Azim Ibn Kathir, Mujarrad Al-Rabi', same thing, gives the same similar hadiths, gives other hadiths, gives lots, gives two, as I say, 2 full pages of it. For example, he gives this one where it says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam كانت له أمة يطأها. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to have a slave girl which he used to have sex with. فلم تزل به عائشة وحفصة حتى حرمها. And so Hafsa and Aisha didn't stop nagging him until he made her haram, and then these verses were revealed. That's Tafsir Ibn Kathir. What other tafsirs have we got here? This is Tafsir Baydawi. Okay. Tafsir Baydawi, Al-Baydawi. And يا أيها الذين يا أيها النبي لما تحرم ما أحل الله لك. روى أنه عليه السلام خلا بماريا. So it is related that he slept with Maria في يوم عائشة أو حفصة. There are 2 narrations whether it is Aisha or Hafsa. That was Tafsir Baydawi. This is Tafsir Zamakhshari Al-Kashaf. Same thing. What have we got here? Now the reason I'm doing all this because the guy on the council said that it's not in any source. He couldn't find any sources for it. It's not in the tafsirs. So I'm just showing him that these are all the classical tafsirs and it's all here in black and white. And if he can't find it, then he needs to ask himself why. Why is it that it's disappeared? And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam khala bi Maria fi yawm Aisha, etc. So there we are. But I'll just show you one last tafsir, which is a very interesting one because it's called Safwat Tafasir, and it's basically a summary of all the classical tafsirs and gives an overview. This guy didn't give his own opinions, he just collected all the classical tafsirs and gave an overview of what they all say. And so it gives a good impression of what was the general opinion of the tafsirs. And the 2 reasons he gives, number 1, as you can see, it has more space there. This is the second reason, smaller space. The first one is Mary al-Qabtiyah, and it gives the reason that the Prophet ﷺ كان يقسم بين نسائه, he used to divide the days amongst his wives. فلما كان يوم حفصة, when it was Hafsa's day, استأذنت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم, she asked for permission from Rasulullah في زيارة أبويها, to go and visit her parents. فأذن لها, so he allowed it. فلما خرجت, so when she went out, أرسل إلى جارته, he sent for his slave girl, Mary al-Qabtiyah, فعاشرها, and he slept with her. في بيت حفصة, in Hafsa's house. فرجعت, so she came back. فوجدتها في بيتها, and found her in her house. فغارت غيرة شديدة, and became very jealous. وقالت أدخلتها بيتي, you brought her into my house في غيابي, while I was absent. وعاشرتها على فراشي, and slept with her on my bed, and so on. And the second reason is the shurb al-asl. And what's very interesting is that he gives the overall view of what all the tafsirs and all the mufassirin said, and he said الرواية الأولى عند المفسرين أشهر. The first one is the most famous, the most well known, في سبب النزول, and this is the best one, and the المرجح, the preferred one, the strongest one. And he says that it is the strongest one for many reasons, and amongst the reasons he gives are that, for example, forbidding a wife, forbidding forbidding a woman upon oneself to please other women is a stronger reason than forbidding honey, and that the wording of the verse with its very severe warnings and strong threats of divorce and changing the women for better women, and that God and the Prophet, God and the angels and the pious Muslims are all on the Prophet's side to help him against these people conspiring against him, and all point to something very, very serious, and that there was some tanafus, some serious jealousy, competition amongst the wives, and some jealousy going on there, and all this makes the first one more likely and the second one very weak. And he even quotes Ibn Kathir, who says, كون قضية شرب العسل سببا للنزول فيه نظر, that Ibn Kathir said that the case of drinking honey as a reason for the revelation of these verses is فيه نظر, is questionable. Okay, well obviously it's up to you which tafsir you prefer. I think it's interesting how many modern Muslims regard the story of Maryam al-Qibtiyya as being weak or fabricated or whatever, and yet obviously the great scholars of the past certainly didn't think so. They thought it was the best explanation. I just wonder whether modern Muslims are being influenced by modern ideas of morality. Okay, take care, bye-bye.
There's a chapter in the Quran. It's called At-Tahrim, which means forbidden. Allah said to Muhammad, but obviously Muhammad is the one who fabricated this chapter, saying to him, why you forbid yourself what Allah made lawful for you? So even Muhammad, he fabricated law saying it's forbidden to do something when it is not forbidden. His wives, they found him having sex with his maid in their bed. So he made a promise, he swear by Allah he will never do it again. And then Muhammad, he missed having sex with this woman. She is a maid of him, slave of him, African slave. So Muhammad, he made a promise, but now he need to break the promise. How he can break the promise and nobody blame him? He used his God puppet Allah. So he made this verse saying, "O Prophet, why you forbid what Allah made lawful to thee?" But Allah never made lawful to thee to have sex with a slave woman unless she is captured in war. That woman married the Copt, she was not captured, she was a gift. Muhammad used to accept a human being as gifts. Maybe you take a gift for your birthday, a pen, a phone. Muhammad, he received human. Chapter 66 verse number 1. Let us go and see the interpretation so the Muslim will not say, oh, he's lying. You know them. You know them. This is about Mary the Copt. They got him busted, and his wife, she said to him, in my bed and in my house, how dare you? O Prophet, why do you forbid what God made lawful for you? I challenge any Muslim to show me one verse in the Quran. It says that it made lawful for him to have sex with a slave she is not captured. The Quran confirms that you can rape a woman she is captured by war. There's nowhere in the Quran says you can have sex with the woman she is just a slave. For you, in the terms of your Coptic handmaid Maria, when he lay down with her in the house of Hafsa. Actually, here it doesn't show much. In Arabic, it says, she said to him, in my house, in my bed, imagine how filthy he is. Not only he is cheating in his wives, he is having sex with a maid in their bed. And this is Tafsir al-Jalalain. The prophet of fornication. She is not his wife. She is not lawful for him in any way, in any mean. All over the Quran. I challenge any Muslim, by the way, to show me one verse that says you can have sex with your slave if she is not captured by war. Not a single verse in the Quran says that. But here Muhammad, as usual, he made a promise because he feared that his wife, now they will make a strike against him, and later they did actually. And they will complain to their parents, who they are important for Muhammad. He cannot make them upset. Like Hafsa. So Muhammad, he said to himself, okay, I swear by Allah, I'm not going to do it again. But then Muhammad, he remember, like, why you want to do that? I mean, I can say that Allah, he said that to me. Even this is Hafsa, the daughter of Umar ibn Khattab, who is very important man, and Muhammad, he fear him. I can say that Allah, he said to me that why you forbid yourself from her, and then what she cannot complain, and even Umar cannot complain. That said, Allah, he said that. Allah is the puppet of Muhammad testicles. He served his penis and he served his balls. And this is why Aisha, she said in the hadith, she said that exactly. She said when she noticed that Muhammad made verses about women giving themselves the Prophet, she said, Inni ara rabbuka yusari'u ila hawaka ya Muhammad. I see that your Lord Muhammad, he run into your sexual desire. And this is Sahih Hadith. I feel jealous of women who offer themselves to Allah Messenger. Why women they want to offer themselves to the Messenger? All cult leaders, they ask women to sleep with them from their cult. That is a very common between cult leaders. Go and check. Muhammad, he asked Muslim women to offer themselves to F him. Why? What is the purpose? What that will do to Allah? What is the benefit for Allah if Muhammad sleep with those women? What that will accomplish to Allah? Muhammad even cannot have kids. So she said, I felt jealous of women who offered themselves to Allah Messenger, and said, then Allah the Exalted, the Glorious, revealed this: you may differ between them. Not only he gave him an option to F any women she offer herself, he gave him an option to choose which one to F, which means women they come to him, but he didn't have to sleep with them all. He chose the beautiful one. He don't want the old one, the one who don't look good. And then she said to him, it seemed to me that your Lord hastens to satisfy your desire, which means your sexual desire. It seems to me. Aisha, she is not stupid. She is young, yes, but she noticed how evil this man is, who used his God as a puppet, claiming that it's God who said that to me. I am not really after women. Allah said so. What I can do? But why Allah want to make such a statement? Why Allah want to ask Muslim women to offer themselves? Why Muhammad is the only man in town? Muhammad is the man who can F every woman in town? And this is a privilege only for the Prophet. When a cult leader, to one of the proof that he is a cult leader, when he make a privilege and all of them is either about sex and money and power, that is a cult leader. And that is Muhammad, my friend. Please download this video, share it with everybody, because we will not keep it in our channel for long. It's going to be there maybe for the coming 10-20 hours maximum. By then we will take it off. So download and share, and let us get the Abdul busted with their lies. Thank you very much for being here. May the Lord bless you, and until we see you again, Christ is Lord. Islam is the most funny, silly, disgusting sex cult exist ever in history. See you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
A lot of the times when we bring up this issue where Muhammad was lied to his wives and was caught having sex with his slave girl in his wife's house, and then they were angry at him, and then he said he will not do it again, and then Allah sent a revelation and said, no, you are allowed to do whatever you want. To never forbid yourself from doing such things. A lot of Muslims, when we bring this up, say, well, no, there are different interpretations, and this might just be about eating honey. He was not supposed to eat honey, and he ate honey, and that's why they got mad. And he said, I will never eat honey again. But then Allah sent a revelation down and said, you are allowed to eat honey. So, but this guy is here reiterating that this is actually about him having sex with his slave girl. Yeah. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and just, I mean, that's one of those situations where you can read the Quran verse and then read their explanations, and you can tell which is obviously the correct explanation. For anyone who's new to this, right? You have the opening verses of Surah 66 of the Quran, which are talking about Muhammad has made an oath to his wives, and Allah's telling him, hey, it's okay to break that oath you made to your wives. And then so the question is, what's this about? You got two competing stories. One is Muhammad got caught in the bed of Hafsa, his wife Hafsa, with his slave girl Mary the Copt, while Hafsa is out running some errands. She comes back early, catches him in bed with his sex slave. And he's like, please don't tell Aisha. Please don't tell Aisha. She's going to complain. I'm going to look bad. And then Hafsa blabs it to everyone. And then it's this big ordeal and so on. But then you have this competing story where his wives are complaining that he smelled like honey, like he was eating this honey, and they were mad about it, and so they had this big dispute over there. It's like, okay, what's the real story behind this that was so embarrassing? Is it really about honey?
The funny thing is, honey sounds like a comparison for
The second one sounds like an episode of
The
second one sounds like an episode of Winnie the Pooh. They caught eating honey. No, I wasn't eating honey.
Stop lying, Christopher Robin. I don't even remember what he sounds like.
No, Piglet.
It gets funnier the more you think about that.
Someone should do a cartoon of that honey episode. And he's Winnie, like they come up to him, like the characters from Winnie the Pooh come up to him and they're like, Muhammad, are you eating our honey?
Hey, by the way, everyone, look at these verses. So you can read the historical background in Tafsir Jalalain. You have hadiths about this being connected to Mary the Copt. But look at it. Oh, Prophet, why did you prohibit? So the historical background is Muhammad gets caught. He tells Hafsa, keep her mouth shut because he doesn't want his wives complaining. His wives complain, hey, what are you doing? I mean, you're literally having sex with your slave girls in our beds, in our houses, right? In our houses while we're out, we go out and you jump in our beds. You've got this sweaty sex slave that you're boning in my bed, and then I'm coming back and laying down in the bed with soaked in the sweat of your slave girl. What the heck, right? They're flipped out. They're flipping out about this. Then Muhammad, I swear by Allah, I will not do that again. I will stop having sex with my slave girl. I will not go near her again. And this is Allah's response. Oh, Prophet, why did you prohibit yourself from what Allah has made lawful to you, seeking the approval of your wives? So you took an oath saying that you would stop having sex with your slave girl. Allah says, I didn't tell you to do that. You're trying to make your wives happy. Why do you care about making your wives happy, idiot? I said you could do it. Why are you trying to make your wives happy? And then what's he saying? Next verse, Allah has already ordained for you the dissolution of your oaths. So I swear by Allah, I will never do that again. Oh, Allah didn't tell me to say that. I take back my oath. It's totally canceled. I'm good to go. And this is Allah telling his prophet it's okay to break an oath he swore to his wives in the name of Allah. And Allah says, break that oath, man. Go bone that slave girl. He did. He got
do whatever you want. You are the prophet. You have the sexual strength of 30 men. You cannot help yourself. You need to do this. You need to go and have sex with your slave girls and with all the women you can find in the world, but only you, not anybody else. Only you.
I'm really glad that's what Allah cares about. You know,
notice that, I mean, Allah's sending a message here. These Muslims, Ali Dawah and Muhammad Hijab, they've absorbed this. Why do you care about seeking the approval of your wives? So Sauda finds out that Muhammad's going to divorce her. And then she basically pleads to Muhammad, hey, I will renounce some of my marital privileges. I'll give my night of the week to Aisha. So you get to spend, if you don't divorce me, you get to spend twice as much time with your child bride. And if a woman fears indifference or neglect from her husband, there is no blame on either of them if they seek fair settlement, which is best. Humans are ever inclined to selfishness. But if you are gracious and mindful of Allah, surely Allah is aware of what you do. So this is actually, notice the what's the next translation? What is that? Sahih Internet?
Why I might go to Sahih International. I don't have that here. Let me see.
No, I wasn't. I was just asking what translation it was, but you can read any of those. But
that was Clear Quran, I think. Here, this is Sahih International.
Yeah, just scroll down to another translation. Oh
no, I looked up a different thing. If you want all the translations, I can get you that.
I was just saying, bring up a couple translations, man. What are you doing?
I will do that. I will do that right here.
And if a woman fears from her husband contempt or evasion, I'm just looking at the different translations. If a woman fears ill treatment from her husband or desertion, Yusuf Ali, if a wife fears cruelty or desertion on her husband's part, there's no blame on them if they arrange an amicable settlement between themselves. So this is about Sauda saying, hey, Muhammad is going to divorce me. I'm not even allowed to marry another man after him. So I'm about to be kicked to the curb forever. Hey, I'll just keep making sure I have food, Muhammad, and you can spend more time with your child bride, and Allah praises her for it. Notice the response could have been, why would you think that Muhammad would divorce you just because you're getting old and overweight and unattractive? Do you think that the greatest man is going to kick you to the curb because you're overweight and you're old now? Do you think he's going to just kick you to the side and trade you in for a younger model now? Of course not. He's the perfect man. He's the pattern of conduct. He would never do that. That's not what it says. It says, good job, girl. Good job. Made a wise decision. You're a wise woman saying, oh, fine. If Muhammad doesn't want to see me anymore, he doesn't have to. Just don't abandon me so that I starve.
Yeah. Pretty messed up. There's also another Quran verse, which I don't know which one. I don't remember which one that is. Which basically threatens Muhammad's wives and says that if they bother him, that he may divorce them and Allah will give him new wives.
If you continue in Surah 66, you start getting some of those. Let me see. Let me pull it up here. Dang it! I can't get on my Quran site anymore. This king keeps jamming. What is it?
Oh, here, Quran. Let's have this here. Quran chapter 66, verse 5. It says, "Perhaps his Lord, if he divorced you all, would substitute for him wives better than you, submitting, believing, devoutly obedient, repentant, worshiping, and traveling." Traveling means fit, being able to move around.
And by the way, notice it's, hey, you ladies who are complaining about him having sex with his slave girl in your beds while you're out, and now you've caught him, and he tried to get you to shut up about it, but now Allah told him it's okay for him to break his oath because he swore an oath saying he wouldn't do it anymore, and that made you happy, and now you're complaining. Your bad wives, he could give you better wives. Allah could give Muhammad better wives than you. So why are these wives bad? They're bad because they objected to the idea that when they go out to go shopping, he jumps in their beds with one of his slave girls. And shame on you. Shame on all of you.
Terrible wives. Terrible.
It's the exact same mentality of these Muslim da'is trying to lecture these women on how they're supposed to be. If you're the bad ones, you ladies are the bad ones. If you have a problem with us boning lots of women, you're the bad wives here. We're not bad. We're not bad if we're out doing this stuff. We're not bad. You're bad.
Terrible women.
So Allah gaslights.
Yeah.
Allah
that's what the abusive guy would do in that relationship.
Hey, that's his 100th name. Allah, the gaslighter.
The greatest of gaslighters.
He's the greatest of gas. He's the best of gaslighters. AP, you should make a video called Allah, the best of gaslighters.
That's good. Let's get back to our dear friends here. I muted the tab.
Is with all due respect,
Disobedience.
Thank you.
This is with all due respect. I'm like your father, huh? If you can't stand the heat, get out of the kitchen. If you are not a man enough to get married to a second woman, don't even dream about it, because your first will come in your dreams and give you hell. This is a well-known fact. They have the power.
Islamically.
But by the way, notice how they put everything, right? Like, you got to be man enough to have all these wives. You want to be a man enough, and you women, you're bad unless you're okay with it. And they're conditioning people. Like, the more wives you have, the more manly you are. And if you're a wife, the more of a problem you have with that, the worse you are as a wife. And it's just
it is just so funny, the conflict of emotions, of ideas that this guy just presented. You have to be man enough and strong enough to be man enough to have a second wife, and if you otherwise you might get a second wife, and your woman might be terrifying and come into your dreams because that's how women are. So
yeah, apparently he thinks women are witches and practice all witchcraft. Like they'll get in your dreams and they'll scare you. This is a fact. It's scientifically proven. You know,
it's weird that they actually think of it like that. Like I was arguing with a Muslim one day about Muhammad and Aisha, and the Muslim started saying, "Well, she was flirting with him. She was flirting with him when she was young." And I was like, "When?" It was like, "Yeah, before their engagement, she was flirting with him." And I was like, "When was so they arranged the marriage when she was 6? So was she like 5 or something like that when she was flirting? When was she flirting with him? What's your source?" And he goes, "When she came to him in his dream." And I was like, "Wait, when Muhammad had the dream that an angel was giving him this 6-year-old, that was her flirting with him?" He goes, "Yes, that was her flirting. She was flirting with him in a dream." Right?
Imagine you're an adult, you're a 50-year-old man, and you say, my friend's 6-year-old daughter, she was hitting on me in my dream, and I think she wants to get married to me.
Yeah, this is why we have the Second Amendment for something like that.
Yeah.
If someone said that about my daughter, I would be like, "You have 3 seconds to start running before something happens. You do not say that."
Yeah.
But you know what? Notice what he said. Like, you're not man enough if you don't have a second wife. As we've already established, it's established fact. There have always been more men than women. So think of the lower class men in Islamic societies that are being told, "You're not man enough if you don't have 2 wives." And they can't even get 1 because, again, the upper class has taken multiple wives. Okay, what do you think that's going to lead to? It's going to lead to political instability, insurgent groups trying to fight the ruling class to get the wives to prove they're men. This is just a recipe for social disaster.
And you've already had Andrew Tate commenting in his tweets and stuff, basically.
That's what I was just thinking.
Yeah, basically saying you're not a real man unless you have 4 wives and you're raising up the next generation and stuff. But he's been posting all this stuff that notice they're associating this with manliness. A real man is not a guy who controls his desire and commits completely to a woman and then honors that commitment. That's not a real man. A real man is a guy who has no control at all over his desires and just spends his entire life satisfying his desires like his prophet did.
A real man breaks his oaths, lies to his wives, has multiple secret wives. They may even be underage. Who knows? And then he can just divorce them when he wants younger ones.
Lying is not allowed except for 3 things. One of them is hadith al-rajul limra'atih. That when a man speaks to his wife.
And I take my selfish needs out of it, i.e. me wanting him all to myself. I need to understand them. So I need to sit down and I need to really think about how this is going to affect him.
This is a test to see how Allah is testing her to see how she responds.
Yeah.
If that's, if she decides to do the opposite, which is, throw the divorce card or throw this card, then ultimately she's falling into the act of disobedience.
Thank you.
Islamically, there is no problem in a man getting married to another woman in Misyar without the first wife's knowledge. There's actually, I've not seen one solitary difference of opinion in any of the 14 generations of Islam. It's not there.
Which is?
Any scholar saying that no, a woman needs to know, she needs to tell her, doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's it.
We're talking about the religion of Islam.
That none of you guys are okay with your husbands getting a second wife. Can I just quickly get that out of the way? Sister Swad.
Absolutely not.
You're not okay with it? Yeah. Sister.
It's a no from me. And if you have anything to say it now.
She's threatening it.
You're finished.
Yeah.
Sister Amira.
Yeah, no.
No. Sister Tyra.
And I won't be happy with it.
Sisters are under the impression that there is a man out there that is not polygamous. Because you guys are monogamous by nature, meaning you just want your husband and you're happy with your husband. We are not created like that.
And then he's got the financial thing where he can reduce, if she's being bad, he can take money away from her. This can be seen in this country as abuse. So if she has evidence of that and she's got the state backing, if he tries to impose his masculinity or his Islamic abilities on her, then she can respond in a malicious manner. Which is why I would say that if a woman shows her claws in that way, this is an option of secret, second, whatever you want to call it. I think it becomes a very legitimate option.